Good morning. My name is Emma Doughty. I'm the Head of Clinical Negligence at Slater and Gordon, and I'm pleased to welcome you to our Cerebral Palsy webinar in partnership with Neuro Rehab Times. In line with Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month, we will be using today's webinar to start a conversation about cerebral palsy and answer any questions which you may have. We're going to be hearing from a number of fantastic charities who work tirelessly to improve the lives of children and families affected by CP. We hope to be able to answer as many questions as we can afterwards, but if we don't get to all of your questions, please feel free to contact me directly or one of the team, and we will ensure your queries are responded to. So just a little bit of an introduction to Slater and Gordon to start with. We are a full service personal services law firm, and we have a very specialist clinical negligence team, which has grown to around 150 staff spread across offices in London, Cardiff, Manchester, Sheffield, Liverpool, and Newcastle. We provide advice and representation in a variety of clinical negligence claims, but we have a high number of senior lawyers, including myself, who specialise in cerebral palsy claims. We do have lots of case studies about the work we do on our website, and we also have some information we can share with anyone who's interested after this call, so please do have a look. To help us ensure we're providing the most specialist advice, we are in a unique position of having an in-house nursing and midwifery team to assist us and our clients. Our nurses and midwives are still in clinical practice and NMC registered, which puts us in a privileged position as we know their views and recommendations are up to date with current NHS guidelines and procedures, ensuring our work is of the highest quality. The team is on the call today and on hand to help in any way they can. So to introduce them, firstly, we have Helen Stanley, who's celebrating 30 years in the NHS this year, having started her midwifery training at Sepping Hill Hospital in Stockport in 1993. She's worked in all areas of midwifery care, but is a specialist in emergency, antenatal and birth scenarios, working for many years on maternity triage and the delivery suite. She's worked closely with women and families who have suffered baby loss or whose baby has been injured as a result of negligent care, and she's also supported those whose loss or injury has resulted in formal and public investigations. Helen is also a trained expert witness, and she's highly experienced in cerebral palsy cases. Kim is a midwife and health visitor. She started her career in midwifery in Warrington in 2014 and continues to work in NHS practice as a community midwife. She has lots of experience within the field of community-based care, including home birth and antenatal and postnatal care. Kim is also experienced in the early years child development arena and has worked alongside social care, dealing with children under child protection, child in need and children in care. Matt is a registered nurse with current NMC registration, and his background is mainly cardiac and respiratory nursing, particularly in ICU and A&E care. However, he can help on many issues, including continuing health issues with mum, development and paediatric care to babies. So just before I pass over to the charities to start introducing themselves, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Neuro Rehab Times for sponsoring and helping to organise this event. For now, though, I'll pass over to our wonderful charities who are going to tell us all about the great work that they do. Thank you.
Cerebral palsy is the most common physical disability in children worldwide. Every 5 days, a child will be born in Wales who will have cerebral palsy.
Better Start, Better Future is our early intervention programme for families in Wales with babies who have or are at high risk of cerebral palsy.
Providing early intervention is extremely important for a baby's future outcomes. If missed, it's a window of opportunity that's very difficult to regain.
Better Start, Better Future has given us the confidence and support we needed to help our son achieve his potential and live life to the fullest.
Giving me hope for the future of my son. It has helped me become a bit more independent.
Better Start, Better Future helped myself and my wife and my family understand cerebral palsy better.
It helped me do things no one thought I could do.
It's life-changing for families like us with Albie. When Albie was born, we were told from the get-go that the likelihood of him having cerebral palsy was very high. We spent a very, very long time upset and worried, and charities like CP Cymru are a lifeline, again, for families like us. because they make us feel not alone.
Cerebral Palsy Cymru has helped me to physio in a fun way and with my walking. It has helped me become more independent.
Has helped us to be more confident as parents to a premature baby, and has helped Ben develop beyond what we thought was possible.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me to come and talk to you about PACE today. I'm Lindsay Hardy and I'm the Clinical Director and one of the therapists at PACE. And I'm pleased to be able to introduce you to some of the work that we carry out here at PACE. So who are we? Well, PACE is a children's charity based in Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire and has been supporting children, young people and their families for over 30 years. We currently have a special needs school and a therapy centre based here in Aylesbury, but we also through our digital platform are able to offer teletherapy to children and families across the UK and internationally. So what's unique about PACE? What is it that we offer? So we have 3 principles across all our services that frame our work. One is that we have a highly specialist multidisciplinary team working in what we call a transdisciplinary way. So this ensures that within the school, for example, the therapists are very much of designing the curriculum and part of the lessons. And in other services, the therapists work very closely together so that they can present the families with a very holistic view of how to support their children. We also make sure that we are providing a very family-focused approach to our work as well, ensuring that we include the families and support the family learning every step of the way. We work to what we call our PACE 9 elements, and these are the areas of child development and family life that we believe are really important for us to be intentionally supporting. And so we look at movement and posture, we look at sensory processing, at communication, at supporting relationships, that's between family members and also between us as staff. We look at regulation and attention, academic learning obviously, emotional well-being, activities of self-care which would include eating and drinking, bathing and toileting, and self-care such as hair brushing, and also play and leisure skills. And so, as I say, this our 9 elements isn't just for the children, it's also to look that we support these areas for the families and also in our staff. How do we provide our specialist services? Well, in 2 main ways. One is through our school, that is Ofsted Outstanding, and we have the school for children aged 4 to 16 years. Again, we use the transdisciplinary team approach and we use our 9 elements to guide the areas that we cover with the children and the families. For the education, the academic part of the school, we have both a formal and a pre-formal curriculum that is available to children depending on their need. We are very innovative in the way that we use assistive technology. We're working together with universities and other technology organisations to ensure that we really are enabling our children to access their learning, access the environment, accessing play and leisure through the amazing possibilities of the digital age that we currently live in. And then the second way that we provide our specialist services is through what we call our child and family therapy services. And here we see children in 3 categories. One is from birth to 3 years. This is our early intervention service, supporting babies that were perhaps born prematurely. The parents have had a very traumatic birth, or there's some concerns about the child's early development. Our second area is 4 to 11 years, and this is where we provide additional therapies into mainstream education settings. And then 12 to 18 years is for children who have usually had some form of PACE support through the PACE school, or more intensive interventions through PACE Child and Family, and are now out in the mainstream schools, but again require a bit of additional support. We then also focus on parents, because that's one of our principles at PACE, is to be family focused. And we really intentionally look to support the parents through, first of all, listening, really taking time to listen to their needs and what they would like to support with, being beside them, being alongside them, not doing to but doing with the families, to support them to feel they understand their child and empowered to go out there and seek what they need for their child and their family. We support them through modelling how to support their child, again, rather than us doing all the therapy hands-on. It's about us demonstrating what they could be doing at home so it can be part of their everyday life. We also provide some parent training and parenting courses as well. And then for practitioners that are out there around the child, so that is learning support assistants, teachers in the mainstream schools and nurseries, or other therapists, we also provide support to them, and this is through problem solving together, training opportunities. We provide training to learning support assistants in the local areas, and also again modelling our practice so that it can be replicated in their centres. Thank you for asking me to give an overview of some of the services that we offer here at PACE, and please do go to our website for any more information. Thank you.
So socially and emotionally is really is the most, you might not think of it first hand, but is a really big impact that it's had, because socially obviously I've made some of my closest friends are from here, and also emotionally, because I do have some good, really nice able-bodied friends who can listen and you can be empathise, but they don't understand as such. But as you come here and you're like, I need to rant about this, I've had a really bad week, I've been extra tight this week, can we work on this part of my body because it needs loosening? And you just, even the staff who obviously don't have CP themselves but are really clued up on it, they just get it and they just know how to help, and they're just emotional support as well is massive, so that's really helped me.
When I was born, the doctor told my parents that I would never walk. So coming to the stick and step has helped me learn to walk.
It's very supportive. It did change a lot of things in our life, and I think my life would be very, very different if it wasn't for the people here.
Because Mason's been attending the centre for quite some time, Stick and Staff have become a great support network for us as a family. We've gained a lot of friends, and the staff are also approachable and friendly, that we can contact them anytime.
They'll talk to us, and if we've got a problem, that or if I'm not sure about, well, why is he doing that? Why is he so stiff all the time? Or what does a word mean? That they will explain it to us properly, and see if they'll give us advice if we need to do any exercises at home, or which way is better, or so yeah, they help us in that way.
Because it's a regular thing every week, you don't get that kind of service from anywhere else. It's just that kind of consistency, and having somebody kind of else there that cares, cares about Jude, and that's really nice.
Before this, we'd always be, I'll do it for you, and maybe in some ways I was trying to do too much for George, and when we'd bring him here, they'd get George to take his shoes and socks off, take his splint off, take his hand splint off, try and take his coat on. Obviously there are hands to help George, but getting them to be independent, getting them to learn things, getting them to sit straight rather than slouching, getting them to use cutlery, getting them to drink, you know, in a good manner without it going everywhere, and they're things that are going to carry him through the rest of his life. I have no doubt about that.
Thank you for all the help you do for us.
Thank you for everything you've done for me.
Just thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work.
I'd like to say, you know, thank you so much. I do really appreciate everything that you do. And
don't really get a lot of time to thank them enough, but from me and Sarah and George and the rest of our family, thank you so much.
We absolutely love you all, and we're so happy that you're here and you're just down the road, and we would hate it if we didn't come and see you. I hope Theo keeps on coming to see you for the rest of his life. I hope there isn't a finish point, because it is a community and we love you all.
Hi, my name's Jane Long. I'm the Development Executive at Heel and Toe Children's Charity.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm one of the conductors here at Heel and Toe's Children's Charity.
At Heel and Toe, we provide a range of therapies to children with physical disabilities and complex needs. We have 2 centres based in Chesterley Street, one in Pelton and one in Perkinsville. We provide these therapies from Monday to Saturday and are currently helping over 200 children per week with these therapies. We provide conductive education therapy, hydrotherapy, hippotherapy, physiotherapy, massage therapy, occupational therapy, and speech and language therapy. The charity is not government funded, and we need to currently raise £1 million just to be able to continue to provide this service.
I'm Karen, and this is Donna and Debbie, and we're here today from Cerebral Palsy Plus, which is a local Bristol-based charity supporting almost 400 people with cerebral palsy and their families as well. Our main aim is to support our members to live their lives to the full and improve their quality of life, and we do this through the delivery of a number of services, such as our swimming club for children aged 4 months to 16 years. We're also in the process of developing a frame running club, which is being really well received by the members and helps them to exercise and move their bodies in a really supported way. In addition, we also organise a number of events and activities throughout the year, such as days out to places like the zoo or the seaside. And we also have an annual family fun day, which is one of the highlights of our year, alongside our annual accessible sailing day, where people get to come down to the water and try out a host of different water sports in an accessible way. We've actually got an event coming up this weekend, which I'm going to hand over to Donna to tell you all about.
On Sunday, we have our first ever Cerebral Palsy Plus talent show to showcase the vast range of talents our lovely members have. They can get up on stage to perform, or if performing live isn't for them, they can submit a video can. Display. There. Talent. Like. Knitting. Diamond. Art. Etc. We have some lovely prizes, so it should be a great day. I'm going to pass you over to Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie, and working with our members as support at their friendship group, we provide transport to and from our club location at St Anne's Board Mills, where we participate in fun activities that our members all enjoy, such as bocce, cards, bingo. There are also other popular activities available, such as fish and chip night, bowling and panto events, and again these are very popular events with our members. This year is the group's 50th anniversary, and obviously our members are a very close-knit group who could otherwise feel quite lonely and isolated. However, new members are always joining and always made to feel very welcome. Even during COVID, communication didn't stop. Unfortunately, club nights were for a while, but during that time we developed Zoom sessions where again we involved lots of laughs, fun and catch-ups that otherwise would have been unavailable. New friendships were made with people that joined on Zoom that could not previously join in on club activities, as them not being able to access those activities. So some really great friendships and close friendships were made there. That proved so popular that we carried on now with the Zoom sessions running alongside our Tuesday night clubs. For us, it's all about fun. We have named our bus the Fun Bus. We just have lots of laughs, and usually I have to say it's at my expense.
It's almost like a really kind and gentle military. I know that sounds really strange, but bear with me. What I mean is it's this repetition, repetition, repetition. There's an understanding here of how a child's brain works.
When they tell you that your child's not going to be able to do something, it actually doesn't mean that that's the truth.
The NHS physio had said we don't know if he'll be able to walk. He's just started taking his first couple of independent steps and he's nearly 6. Oh, Mummy's so proud of you.
I'm the Chief Executive. I work with the Board of Trustees of the charity. We are looking to build the most extensive set of rehabilitation services in the UK, using the best technology, the best integrated services with top-flight rehabilitation specialists.
From being told by a paediatric doctor at the age of 18 months old that he would never be able to do that, to now at 9.5 years old being able to do that, that's such a massive achievement.
A teddy bear, ready? Are we ready with our hands? And woo! Good go, Isla.
I've been coming here for a while and I've come here for a lot of physio, and I think it's played a big role in where I am now and what abilities I have now.
Since I've been coming to see Potential, we've absolutely seen 150% change, 2,000% improvement in her ability to walk, in her movement, everything. It took us a while to find the right organization for the right treatment for her, but since 1.5 years, she's now 4, and our family's been grateful for that.
Hi, my name's Andrea and I'm a physiotherapist at See Potential. One of the reasons I really like working here is because really we do our best to center the therapy around your child. We really do everything as a team, so even if there's something that I can't necessarily provide as much, I can always rely on somebody else. As well as this is the same thing with the equipment that we use. It's especially here in physio, we have lots of very fun equipment that will sort of provide whatever it is that your child needs the most.
No, I'm going. And. Balancing, look.
You just have to like keep motivated, keep going, and you'll see differences. And sometimes it can feel like you're not going to gain strength, but you'll get there one day.
Welcome to the National Mobile Cerebral Palsy Centre, where we provide services for people living with cerebral palsy and other neurological conditions from the very early stages as young as 4 weeks old all the way to people in their geriatric years. We run an early intervention scheme providing free treatment to children under the age of 2.5. As babies become children and children grow into adolescence, we grow with them. Their goals change and we are there for every challenge. We have launched annual reviews for adults with CP, providing a holistic assessment by a specialist neurophysiotherapist. The Mobile Centre is renowned for providing training, nationally and internationally, for therapists, family members, childcare providers, teachers and anyone else involved in the lives of people with CP. We are here for people with cerebral palsy and their families at any stage, supporting them for life.
Hello everybody, well thank you very much to all the charities for preparing those wonderful videos for us and for telling us all about the amazing work that you do. I think for me the main takeaway for today, and also probably my experience with clients who have access to your wonderful charities, is really the feeling of community and sense of belonging that I think until they get the continuous support and help that you provide, they really don't feel very much of. So that's one of the things that came across for me today. There's so many questions been going through in our meeting chat and otherwise, and I know that the charities have been sort of answering lots of them as they've gone along. So I can see that there's lots of people asking, do you have services in various areas? And I know that there are responses to those, but I wonder perhaps if I could ask to sort of assist with those where there may not be charities, extremely close. Are the charities providing some remote therapies and support? And can I can see Kevin from See Potential. Can I open it up to you first, Kevin? Or you're on mute, Kevin.
I'm just saying you're probably asking the wrong person. You need to probably ask Joe or Brett. They're much more connected.
Right, okay. Well, Joe then, perhaps you could...
Pass the buck.
Nicely done there, Kevin.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, can I now pass it to Brett? No.
I can answer, but you...
Actually, yeah, Brett might like to answer, actually. Sorry about that.
Okay, fine. Yes, well, we do offer services in for people that are further afield. Our centre is based in London, but because we've developed intensive therapies, we get people coming from all over the country. So they come down typically for a week's worth of therapy at a time. So we do offer it more remotely. This year, we're also be having some pop-up therapies in different parts of the country to actually support some of those people that have been coming to us. We've had people from Ireland, from Yorkshire, Northumberland, Scotland coming down to us. So, but it's based on intensive therapies. Does that make sense, rather than just sort of a one-off hour session? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And do any of our other charities want to jump on and let us know whether they also offer those kind of services?
Yes, I wouldn't mind, Emma, if you don't mind. The Mobile Centre is a national organisation, and we deliver therapy in the combination of care that works for the service user. And this can be a combination of virtual and face-to-face. Occasionally, it's 100% virtual, and it can be 100% face-to-face. It can be on a regular basis. It can be on an intensive basis. It's completely geared towards what the person approaching us needs in their life. So rather than fitting into our criteria, we fit ourselves around the service user. That's the aim.
Thank you, Yoli. Okay, so if anybody on the call who's sort of asking about locations and things wants to get in touch with us or the charities directly afterwards, then please do. I'm sure that any one of them can open themselves up and help you wherever you're based. So we've had a couple of questions, and one of the questions we've had is what the charities have found to be the biggest challenge post-COVID, since the COVID pandemic. So I don't know if anybody has, is there anybody from Stick and Step who can perhaps help us with this one?
Hi, I'm happy to help with that one. It's Sarah from Stick and Step. I'm the head of fundraising. Obviously, I think probably most of the charities here will have found that during COVID times, fundraising was extremely difficult, and we offer our services to the families free of charge. We have to raise £750,000 this year. It costs around £7,000 for a child's place. So for us, obviously, that's a huge challenge for us, and we go about it with massive gusto. But we are now, obviously, post-COVID, we've now gone into the cost of living crisis. So, we find also that we have to be very mindful of who we're asking, how we're asking, and what we're asking, because whilst our families are extremely grateful for all the support that they get, and we all love them dearly, everybody is dealing with the cost of living crisis regardless of who you are. So it's just a question, I think, of being very mindful, listening very carefully to people, but still making that ask where it's appropriate.
Thank you. Okay, we've had a question about the definition of cerebral palsy. So the question I'm going to ask to Helen Stanley, Slater and Gordon's one of our internal midwives, if I may. So Helen, why is it called cerebral palsy and not just a brain injury or infant brain injury? The old world palsy used to be used for many things, same as the word infirm. Is it not time this term was binned? It's such a good question. Helen, do you have a view?
It is a good question, and it is quite a difficult one. So I think I put a little answer in the chat to say it's quite a well recognised term now. So it's quite makes things quite difficult to change when we're used to using that, and we don't want the children who do have cerebral palsy to be missed if it is termed under a different name. But cerebral palsy can happen for lots of different reasons. Its actual official definition is an interruption on the development of the brain, and that can happen for so many different reasons. So that's why it is termed in that way. But along with many other conditions that we have renamed over the years, it might be a time that it should be changed. But how we go about that and how we challenge that, I'm not quite sure what we would do. But I think it covers a lot of aspects and a lot of areas, which is most likely why it has got the name. And it's the only name that I've known in the whole time of my career for that particular injury as well. But the person who asked that question has got a very valid point.
I agree. I think they do indeed. I don't know if it is a really interesting question. I mean, I don't know if any of the other charities that are on the call have a view, different or otherwise, that they might want to share.
I mean, I can tell you a little bit about the sort of bigger picture of sharing terminology. So I do agree with the comment actually, but we're trying to have really good surveillance of the incidence of CP, as it is called now, to be able to look at the things that are working in our care for very young developing brains that have had a trauma. And to speak the same language with different countries even that are obtaining that information from their registers, it just means that we all speak the same terminology and we all understand it to be the same thing. And though that is not an excuse, that is the reason why that is happening. And it comes from the medical model, and the medical model likes to use that kind of terminology. And I think that's where it's come from the 40s and the 50s. And that is how that is still carried through. It doesn't mean to say that our advocacy and our political mission to look at cerebral palsy in terms of it being a condition that people have, but it doesn't change the being of us as human beings. It doesn't mean to say that we should not work on improving that. That's a massive, important thing that I think every charity that's here will have in its mission and vision statements to work on that. And I think certainly as a national centre where we see people from all over the UK and sometimes further afield, we realise that in some parts of the world that that view of cerebral palsy is still very different from here in the UK. And it's also our role to promote the rights of people in that sense.
Thank you, Yoli. I've just done the classic thing and stayed on mute. Thank you. There's a couple of more questions in the chat, which I'm going to ask. So someone's asking, are there many group sessions when the children are older than 5? This lady says, we used to attend small steps and really miss the group, encouraging each other and the support from the other parents that we had regularly. Is there anybody from Heel and Toe who could answer, or anyone who wants to sort of tell us about what they can offer?
Hi, I'm Rachel from Heel and Toe. We do offer group conductive education sessions if you're missing the group aspect, because we all know that the group aspect is really key in supporting the children, but also supporting the parents as well. And the parents also need lots of support emotionally, but the children get a lot out of developing their friendships and also developing sharing skills and also developing their social skills, which is especially extremely important after COVID, where they probably spent a long time with their parent and not with other children. And I think we're really starting to see that in the little kids that we are starting to see through our doors, of how important the group sessions are in developing those key early social skills.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Can I ask the same question to CP Cymru, please?
Oh, thank you.
Yes, certainly. Hi, everybody. Yes, I mean, I totally agree with what was being said there by Rachel. We do, although our primary focus at CPC is on our early intervention baby service for babies up to the age of 3. We know how important our monthly baby group sessions are to the families that attend and support. Eventually, we'd love to be at the point where we can provide these group sessions for children right through the ages, because we know what huge value the families get from that. So, for example, we run a couple of special projects annually for a sort of jungle explorer camp for children with hemiplegia, generally around the ages of 6 to 7, and it is quite an intensive couple of weeks. With a sort of jungle theme, and the kids have tremendous fun, but sort of work on the sort of bimanual skills. But the families have an opportunity to get together also, and likewise we have a special project running currently, thankfully funded by Children in Need for children on the more severe end, young people. And they get huge value from that also, especially with the parents who have the opportunity to get together. They work with our family support coordinator at that time. For funding sort of reasons, we would love to be in a position to run more of that for families right across Wales. But hopefully eventually we'll be able to do that. But yeah, there's just huge value can be had on groups getting together, both children with CP or adults with CP, but also families.
Thank you, Claire. And Cerebral Palsy Plus, we haven't heard from you yet. Do you have anything you have going on that you can share with us?
Hello, hi, I'm Kathy. We tend to do holiday activities more for children and young people rather than regular groups. We have regular groups for adults and a swimming club, hydrotherapy swimming club on a Saturday morning. We also have young adults activities, but for big activities for children with their families, we do school holiday things. So for big things, as we mentioned in our video, like sailing day, family fun day, multi-sport days, trips to the zoo, that kind of thing. So it varies really. We respond to what the members want, but at the moment we haven't really got staff capacity to do sort of children's groups, although it is something that people have expressed interest in. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, I can see another question. So can anyone please tell one of our listeners who they should approach to try and get the right secondary school for their 10-year-old, as the counsellors declined to put him in a school that suits his needs? Now, Kim Burns, one of our in-house midwives, I know she has lots of community and some social care experience. I wonder whether Kim, and she's sort of partly answered, I think, or asked a question. So Kim, do you have any comments on that? Otherwise, I'll open it up, or I could potentially add something.
Yeah, sorry, I've just been listening into this. Having read that, it appears that I'm just reading through, we're going through an appeals process, someone specifically legal. So I'm unsure legally, from within a community area, I've worked as a health visitor and school nursing, you could get support from your school health team, which are usually assigned to each area and each individual trust. So it's through the NHS. You'd need supportive letters, but with regards to EHCP already been in place, you're already going through the appeals process. So I find it quite difficult because obviously I don't know the criteria for that school, and I'm not a school nurse, I'm a health visitor. But there should be someone within the local authority as well who should be able to support you from the special educational needs department. So you should have a send outreach worker that should be able to support you. And have you got any early help workers involved or anything like that to support you? So I'm asking a question, it's like an empty, so yeah.
Thank you, Kim. I'm not sure whether Yoli
No.
Berwick was.
So I would definitely discuss. I'd bring your local school health team, because he will be under your son. He will be under a school health team, and you need to find out who is the local special educational needs outreach worker for your local authority, because they should have been involved with the EHCP process as well. So they should be able to support you in some way. With regards to legally, I'm not actually sure.
Don't worry, Kim. I think I threw you in there.
I can't hear Emma. Can you hear Emma? Oh, no, it's because we've all got you on mute. Bear with me. I'll just mute myself so it doesn't make a big noise, and I'll let you answer. Sorry.
No problem. I was just saying thank you, Kim. Appreciate that. And Yoli, I don't know if you came on earlier to try and speak, if you have something to add. Otherwise, I think I would just add that an education lawyer, if you have got to a point where you're having to make an appeal, an education lawyer would be really, really helpful, and they can give you some appropriate advice. You can contact us, or you can sort of contact the Law Society for recommendations. So from a legal perspective, that's the advice I could give you there. I don't know if anybody else has anything to share. If so, please do pop up. Otherwise, we'll try and move on to another question. Okay, sorry, I'm scrolling through to see, because there's quite a few questions. I can't see any others, but perhaps if anybody's got.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, I've just realised we've got the same one. I'm just wondering, from a health visitor perspective, I'm quite surprised at how much support is out there, because I do feel like it is lacking NHS communication with regards to charities. Do you feel in your areas you've got better links with local charities, with the NHS Trust? Because I think if I'd have known all this when I was working full time as a health visitor, I would have felt like I was in a much better position. And I just think it's really good to see all of the services that are available, because sometimes it's quite frustrating as a health visitor when you're trying to support families, that when you refer someone in because the child needs extra support, you kind of sit on a waiting list sometimes for many months and sometimes years, awaiting a diagnosis. And in the meantime, it's kind of like a black hole. And it's all obviously frustrating for us, but nowhere near as frustrating as it is for a family. Do you feel like you've got good relationships and good links, or is it something that is lacking still?
Should we open that up? Is there anybody that would like to answer that question?
I can say something about that one if you like.
Thanks.
Our therapy team here do work really hard to maintain links with the community teams in the NHS, and it's vital we do that, because we want those to feed the children into our services. They can refer, as long we can have self-referral, but we can have referrals from the community therapy teams and from the neonatologists. We want to see these babies as early as physically possible. Like you say, Kim, it's wait sometimes, isn't it? Which is sort of the opposite of what we want to promote. But our therapy teams do work really hard. There's still a long way to go, but it really is very much part of what we do. It's the sharing of the awareness, making sure our families know that we're out there for them at this very early stage, even if they have, we say we are there for children who have or are at risk of having cerebral palsy, because we want to see them if there's those question marks, if there's been a pram baby or whatever the circumstances are. But yes, it's very much sort of built into what we do, and there is a long way to go in terms of awareness and making sure that all the community teams across the NHS, across Wales, have the information to hand about how we can support them. But we very much work in collaboration with the NHS to ensure that the child has a very holistic approach, be it from us, from the community teams. We can share the knowledge to the NHS teams to ensure that the child gets the best possible service right across all the areas of care that they have. But yeah, we just got to keep going, haven't we? Keep banging the drum.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Can I add something to that, please? If I may, Claire, that was very clearly presented, and I just want to say that many children do not have a diagnosis under the age of 2, but parents or people around them will have concerns about how that child is developing, and lowering the threshold for being able to go to an organisation who is, expert in understanding development, typical development, but also to recognize when children are not developing typically and what kind of functional implications that has is really important. So by having taken the referral process away and going to a self-referral status as an organization, the Berbal Centre is open to anyone who has considerable concerns about or has concerns about their child's development. And does so by offering welcome sessions that are free of charge, so you can share your concerns with a therapist at the centre. This can be virtual or face-to-face to make it easier for people to attend, because they might have other children, they might not be able to come all the way to Watford, and then to learn a little bit about the kind of things that we could do. And the key to it is not to stick a label on it necessarily, but the key to it is to take those concerns seriously, to listen, and to address the kind of issues that parents are facing with their children. And to be there either to signpost to another organisation, because that is just as important, or to offer something virtually, or to offer something face-to-face. And our free under 2.5 scheme, so the early intervention scheme is completely free of charge, goes a long way towards that. And it helps people to know that they will be doing something whilst awaiting potentially a diagnosis of cerebral palsy.
Thank you, Yoli. So I've got another question. How can families know if they're receiving everything in terms of financial support that they're entitled to? And obviously that's particularly important in the current challenging times that we are in. Can I ask Cerebral Palsy Plus about whether they have any comments on that?
Okay. We signpost, so we don't offer financial advice, but we would signpost to professionals. It's a minefield, isn't it? And benefits legislation, etc., is always changing, tax laws, all the rest of it. So we would signpost. So we would use organisations like we've got North Bristol Advice Centre, Citizens Advice, local welfare benefits organisations. However, we've got schemes of our own within the charity, like a grant scheme and a hardship scheme, which is completely outside the benefits system, and we can use our staff's knowledge and expertise to identify people who might require a bit of assistance. So we
I think we've lost Kathy a little bit. Do any of the other charities have anything that they'd like to add on this point? And the one thing I would add, so our clients have access to specialist benefits advice, as entirely part of their the work that we do with them. So that's something that we can offer. And we're always happy to sort of help answer any questions on that score. I don't know whether there's anybody from Stick and Step who could add anything. Or see potential.
I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute there.
Oh, hello there, Sarah. Sorry.
Hi, sorry, Sarah here. I think Joker would probably agree with me. Joker's here also from Stick and Step, that we would do the same. We don't actually offer those services either, but we would signpost if we were able to.
Okay, thank you. Are there?
I'll just mention See Potential. Yeah, we offer a whole wide range of support services, working with also Slater and Gordon on providing people with any legal support, educational healthcare plan support. In addition to that, we work with parents on wellbeing services, advocacy services, and things like that. So we take a very holistic approach to what that child needs within the family. So I think that there is that sort of specialist help out there. You just got to sort of make the right partnerships. So clearly, as therapists, we're not legal advisors or educational advisors, but there are people out there that can help you do that.
Can I just add one more thing? Sorry, we are just about to launch our legal support partnership as well. So that is obviously with yourselves and a couple of other firms as well. So that will all be in place, and we're just in the process of introducing our families to that.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, well, thank you all very, very much again for participating, for producing these incredibly moving and inspiring videos. We've had lots of questions. I'm very sorry if I haven't managed to sort of get through them all. If you have got a burning question and I've missed it, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to pass on your question to the appropriate person or the charities directly. And if there's anything that we've missed on the chat, we will try and respond where we can as soon as possible. So it just remains for me to thank everybody, to thank Neuro Rehab Times again for sponsoring this event. Thanks to everybody on the call who I'm sure is sitting wearing green, and for all your support for the Cerebral Palsy charities. So thank you very much. Good to hear from you all.
Thank you.